Today, I'll discuss the Chinese comedic drama flick How to Train Your Dragon. There will be spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and be cautious. Before we start the recap, we are giving away $100 every week for the first one who will answer the question in the end of the video. Make sure to stick to the end, and let's dive in. Jackson is a 6-year-old boy who adores his friend. He gives her a marriage certificate and asks her to sign it one day. When she declines, he offers her 2 movie tickets in exchange for becoming his wife. She signs the documents but then goes on a date with another guy. Jackson is overprotected by his 5 older sisters. They pledge to guard him from the feminine gender for the rest of their lives after seeing his grief. The setting changes 15 years forward. Jackson has matured into a lovely guy, but he has no privacy from his sisters. We are also introduced to his 5 sisters. Lily, his youngest student, is in the same grade as him. Violet, on the other hand, is a member of the archery club. She often uses her abilities to get Jackson to do what she wants. Heaven, the 3rd sister, is a computer hacker. To keep an eye on her brother, she hacks into the school's security system. Melody is Jackson's 2nd oldest sister, and she is a high school teacher. Finally, Sarah is the oldest. She is the irritable one that everyone fears. Their parents split many years ago, leaving the daughters to care for one another and their brother. Jackson is bored of being followed around by his sisters one day at school. To help him conceal from them, his pal designs him a camouflage costume. Jackson finds himself hiding behind a girl's shower room locker in an effort to blend in. However, a new girl called Meng discovers him and brings him to the academic affairs office. Jackson doesn't mind getting in trouble as long as his sisters don't find out. After school, he goes home cautiously, hoping that the administration has not notified his 2nd oldest sister, Melody. He sighs with satisfaction when no one discusses the events of the day. During dinner, though, Melody casually mentions his being discovered in the ladies' locker room. Everyone turns to gaze at Sarah, the oldest sister, who has become crimson with rage. They are dragging Jackson across the floor in the next scenario. He is hanged upside down and is being questioned about what he was doing in the ladies' locker room. In order to save his heart from breaking, the girls have prohibited him from making touch with any female. Although the treatment is very severe, they believe it is the best option for Jackson. He, however, does not agree with them. He retaliates for the first time in his life, claiming that he needs to date a female eventually. Sarah gathers her thoughts before daring him to find a partner who can equal all of his sisters' enthusiasm. The work is challenging, but Jackson is eager to do it. The following morning, he puts up a sign advertising the need for a girlfriend. His buddy advises he approach the new girl Meng, who seems to be the sort who loves to assist everyone. A montage shows us Meng assisting individuals with tasks with which they do not need assistance. Jackson decides to make Emily his girlfriend, but he has little prior experience with women. As a result, his pal serves as a wingman and goes to Meng to brag about Jackson. He refers to Jackson as a victim of his sister's torment and details what the girls have done to him. Meng is empathetic after hearing the accounts. She approaches closer Jackson, intending to become friends with him, but she reconsiders looking at him attentively. Someone suddenly spreads the word of a wild bear assaulting the kids. Jackson pretends to be the hero and rescue everyone, but the bear turns out to be a plush toy. Even the toy pushes him down the steps, resulting in his hospitalization. In the next scene, Jackson awakens in a hospital bed with Meng at his side. Despite the fact that his strategy did not go as planned, he now has extra time with Meng. She expresses her desire to be his buddy out of sympathy. Then 2 of Jackson's sisters come and begin berating him for failing to take care of himself. This enrages Meng, who tells them to halt. She identifies herself as Jackson's girlfriend as the girls stare in disbelief. The statement catches a sick Jackson off guard. His sisters quietly question him at home about if he has a girlfriend. He just smirks at the question and does not respond definitively. That is, until his older sister Sarah inquires, and he is forced to tell her about Meng. The sisters tie him up again, not thinking he could obtain a girlfriend in a day. Jackson believes it was love at first sight, but the girls are skeptical. Nonetheless, they decide to assess Meng's suitability to determine whether she is suitable for their brother. The next day, Violet, Melody, and Lily arrive to school as if it were a war. Violet attempts to shoot Jackson with an arrow when Jackson and Meng are together, but Jackson stops her just in time. Meng observes this and chastises the girls for their cruelty. They confront one another and challenge each other. When Violet's strategy fails, Lily takes charge of the situation. She blackmails all the hot boys at school into approaching Meng and asking her out on a date. She intends to change Meng's mind about Jackson, but her scheme fails terribly. Jackson assists Meng in getting away from the men. Violet notices them from the other side of the school and is ready to fire again as they flee down the hallway. This time, though, she strikes an explosive that had been thrown into the air only moments earlier. It generates a mid-air explosion that, luckily, does not hurt anybody. While everyone is trying to figure out what caused the explosion, we observe a guy in a chemical lab creating additional explosives. His motivation is unknown. However, he seems to have rescued Meng from Violet. Following the catastrophe, Jackson and Meng visit the balcony and share popsicles. Jackson discovers that Meng is posing as his girlfriend because she believes his sisters are attempting to take his organs. He doesn't correct her, preferring to keep her in the dark as long as possible. At home, Lily and Violet publicly proclaim their failure. Heaven, who is skilled with computers, accepts responsibility for destroying Meng's reputation. She gathers random CCTV video of Meng from school and fabricates a story about her being a terrible person. The power goes out just as she is about to post it to the internet. We see the chemical lab employee standing outside their home. He is the one who turned off the power in order to rescue Meng, but his actual motivations are unclear. Inside the home, the three unsuccessful sisters kneel in front of Melody, the second oldest. It is now her obligation to remove Meng out of her life. The next day, she challenges Meng to a sporting event. They compete in a gazing contest as well as a goldfish catching task. Melody wins both and puts Meng in her place. Sarah, the oldest sister, comes just as they are ready to participate in the last round. She introduces herself before challenging Meng to a hammer throw contest. They must launch a big metal ball as far as possible. Sarah levitates the ball in midair using her amazing abilities. When it is time for her to toss, she grabs another ball from the stand. We observe a key emerge from the ball, showing that it was spiked with an explosive that is going to detonate at any moment. Meng observes this and grabs the ball from Sarah's grasp before tossing it away. She begins to like Meng, which causes the other sisters to respect her. Jackson sprints around the field, praising God for Meng's presence in his life. A montage of Jackson and Meng enjoying time together follows the incident. They go on numerous dates before deciding to become a true pair. They enjoy each other more as they learn more about one another. They travel to a deserted beach and spend the night together on one of their romantic dates. They playfully quarrel and embrace each other in the morning. The chemical man is eavesdropping on them the whole time. The embrace makes his blood boil with rage, but he does nothing at the time. The following day at school, Lily and Jackson, the youngest sister, are together. Lily takes out a lunchbox containing an explosion. The whole school is jolted by a thunderous explosion. Jackson is unharmed, but Lily needs CPR to regain consciousness. Fortunately, it was merely a chemical explosion, and everyone was unharmed. Meng watches Jackson and his sisters huddled together in terror and understands how much they care for one another. Jackson follows her as she walks away from the incident. They collide, but Meng totally disregards him and the fact that he might have died sooner. Jackson feels perplexed and saddened, but he does not inquire as to what is wrong. In actuality, Meng has realized that the awful things that have been occurring to Jackson and his sisters have only begun after she began dating him. She believes she is bringing a terrible omen into their life and resolves to avoid them. Jackson approaches her many times, but she ignores him. It rains severely in town one night. Jackson is at home when he hears about the flooded streets on the television. He recalls Meng being at the classroom when he last saw her, waiting for the rain to cease. He runs to school and finds her unable to stand due of the rain. Jackson embraces her and asks her to return to her usual self, but Meng pushes him away. She is set to switch schools again, and she wants him to keep away from her until then. Jackson, who is injured, spends the night in the rain. He hears someone approaching him from behind in the morning. He misidentifies the individual as Meng and embraces them. However, until today, the explosives have been created by the man. He tases and kidnaps Jackson. The school is throwing a party that evening. Everyone is enjoying the live music and spectacle except Meng, who is sulking in a corner. Because of Jackson's absence, the sisters are tense. They make every effort to apprehend him and discover that his phone is someplace nearby. Following a fireworks show, a weird masked figure enters the stage. He is the kidnapper who has Jackson chained to a rocket that he believes is ready to take off. When questioned why he haterades, he explains that he is invisible to everyone and has no friends. He fell in love with Meng at first sight and was always around her. Meng loved Jackson more than anybody else, despite the fact that he protected her from Jackson's sisters. As a result, he has come to get vengeance on Jackson, who has stolen his sole happiness in life. The sisters, Meng, and several of Jackson's pals do all they can to keep the rocket afloat. They are successful, but only for a few moments. Before taking off, Jackson expresses his feelings for Meng. Finally, he takes off into the sky and perishes in the ensuing explosion. Meng appears in front of a grave in the following scenario. She presents it with flowers and begs for blessings. Suddenly, Jackson enters the scene, indicating that he was only slightly hurt in the previous accident but is otherwise well. Meng's mother, who died a long time ago, is buried here. In the last scene, we see the sisters enter and continue to bother Jackson. Who did the cat in The Godfather belong to? Comment below your right answer. For more chances, we're uploading movie recaps with quizzes every day. Subscribe and turn on notifications to collect more prizes. The winner will be announced every week. Good luck.